and honor to y'all, Bashmi Shai. Double honor to the elders, great millstone. Much love and respect to you, brothers out there doing the work in sincerity and truth, striving for the whole full leg, enduring all afflictions, seeking out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Yahweh Bashmi Shai, Wahabrakak Wadash, Barakatah Makim. I just want to go into a video regarding two words, respect and disrespect. And the brother Pashai brought this out, a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, and going into the word disrespect. And I just want to touch into that. It's on my spirit, and just also to refresh, myself. So I want to go into the word respect first. And before I do, well, you know what? Let me read the definition for respect. It's a noun, the late 14th century, relationship, relation, regard, consideration. From Old French, respect, and directly from Latin, respectus, regard, a looking at. Okay, it says, and I'm not going to read some of these different languages, but it says literally an act of looking back, or often at one. So basically, you're acknowledging that person. When you have respect, you're being aware of that person. Okay. It says noun, use of a past particle of recepcere, look back at, regard, consider, from the prefix re, back, right? See, re plus specere, look at. So it's to look at, to look back at. That's what respect is, to speak, observe. Meaning the feeling of esteem, excited by actions or attributes of someone or something, courteous or considerate treatment due to personal worth or power, are from 1580s as a sense of point, particular, future. Okay, so the word respect, when you break down the word, is to look back at. Okay, and to look back at somebody is basically you're acknowledging them, and you're taking heed to what is being either spoken or displayed as an example, and you're either walking in that same example, or adding unto that example, and having the respect, like I said, the meaning, feeling of esteem, excited by actions or attributes of someone or something. You know what I'm saying? So for someone to respect you is meaning that they're taking heed to the counsel, that they take heed unto you as a person. All right. They're not overstepping their boundaries. They're taking the consideration, the time to listen to the things that are being spoken, and they're applying them, into their daily life. It's the same thing with the word, but I'm going to go into a little deeper with, because the Most High, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, they set it up to where men are your teachers, you know what I'm saying? And when you disregard them, those men that are set up to be your teachers, your examples, you're basically disregarding Yahweh Bashmi Shai. Okay, let me see what else has down here. Respect, the verb for 1840s, to regard, notice with special attention. From middle French, respecter, look back, respect, delay. From Latin, respectare, frequentative of reciprocity, look back at, regard, consider. Okay, so it says back, to look at. So you're basically looking back to, all right, or to observe, and that's what the word respect. So a lot of people think that being disrespectful is speaking up for yourself, or having your view on things, okay, or when you cuss somebody out, for example, that's disrespectful. Okay, I mean there's certain things that it could lead to being disrespectful, but that's not what that means. To be disrespect, or to respect somebody, all right, is acknowledging them. Okay, to take heed to their counsel, to their example, and you're living and you're walking in that same counsel. You know what I'm saying? So, you have a lot of we got people that walk contrary to this word respect. Okay, they don't care about what's being said. They're men pleasers. They're respecter of persons. They because the Lord, he it don't matter if you're the highest individual in this truth, or the lowest. We're all one body. And that individual person that's speaking to you is the same spirit that Yahweh Shai will speak to you through the higher brother. So whenever you disregard that counsel or that example or that admonishment or that exhortation or rebuke, you're basically disregarding Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so respect is basically to look back at. Okay, to look back at, meaning that you are considering that example or that exhortation, admonishment, as I said. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up this word disrespect. And like I said, the brother Pashai brought this out a few years ago, or a few years ago, and I just want to touch into it. Let me see. Let me go back to the noun. Okay, so it has the verb in the noun. So on the online etymologydictionary.com, it has the word disrespect of the verb having or show no respect for. So I already broke down what the word respect is, and it says from dis plus respect. So we know what the word dis means is basically to cast away, or to ignore, or to see as something that is not that is basically like trash. Okay, so you're not looking back at it, meaning that you're not considering it or regarding it. You're basically walking away from it. You're stopping your ears from hearing the counsel. You basically, or you become a respecter of persons or play favoritism and things of that nature. Okay, which the Most High is completely against. I'm not saying that you can't have certain brothers that you feel more comfortable around. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that people that just basically disregard counsel. All right. It says disrespect now, a want of respect or reverence in civility. Okay, let me look up this word right here. It says rude or unsociable speech or behavior, absenteeism and incivility were not tolerated, an impolite or offensive comment. Like I say, it can fall into that. But I'm going into the word because the scriptures, I'm about to pull out some scriptures regarding this. So now I want to go into that word. Since we know what respect is, let's go into that word dis. All right, it says dis, a word forming element of Latin origin, meaning the lack of not. All right, as a dishonest. So you're lacking you're lacking to look back, or you're lacking to look to consider that counsel or things of that nature, with in return is a form of disrespect. Okay, do the opposite of, do the opposite of. You see, so if a brother tells you to do a certain thing according to the scriptures, and you go contrary to that, you're being disrespectful. People think that you're not. People are simple. They think by being vocal, right, is disrespectful. But your attitude, your actions, your body language, it can display disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Or not looking into another man's eye. When you're communicating with this man and he's looking away from you and not paying attention to your eye, that's disrespect. Because like I said, the word respect means to look back at, right? To look back at again. So it says, as in disallow, it says apart, away, as in discard, or directly from Latin dis, apart, asunder, in a different direction, between, figuratively not also exceedingly utterly, assimilated as diff before f and d before most voice consonants. So basically, to disrespect, to be disrespectful, or to disrespect is meaning that you're lacking to look back at it again, okay, or you're casting it away. Let's see what they have over here. Oh, let's see. The Latin prefix is from pi, dis, apart, asunder. The pi root is a secondary form of duis, and thus is related to the Latin bis, twice, originally divis, and to dual, on notion of two ways, in twain, hence apart, asunder. Okay, so that's why the Lord says, be not cold nor hot, or be either cold or hot, but since you're lukewarm, I'm gonna spew you out my mouth. But I'd rather you be hot or cold. It says, let me see what else they have. See, as a living prefix in English, it reverses or negatives what is affixed to something. Sometimes, as in Italian, it is reduced to s, spin, That's it on there. So basically, y'all brothers get the gist of what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, earlier, let me check something out. Let's look at this one. I think that's the one I had. Let's go back. Let's look at the verb. It's a dis verb, also dis, slang by 1980, shortening of disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you're dissing somebody, your attitude, your actions. It could display disrespect, not looking back, not paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? So it says originally in African American vernacular, popularized by hip hop, related to dissed or dissing. And it goes on to say, I'm gonna go down. It says, in the sense, it was given a slang, figuratively extension as weak in the head in 1925. So basically, that's what it is, because the Most High is looking for men that are strong-minded, that they're gonna move with counsel, with what has been commanded of thee. Okay. Let's see what else. That's it on there. So let me go back. To the word respect. Let's go over here. So I broke it down. So I'm gonna read some scriptures here, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse Proverbs 1:20. Wisdom cries without; she uttereth her voice in the streets. And how does that happen? By way of men in the flesh. It says, she crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, and I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and you have refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. You see? So basically, they were disrespectful. They didn't look back, right? They refused to look back at Yahweh Bashem Al-Washai. They refused to hear his words and to move in action. Okay? They didn't regard him. They didn't respect him. The word right there, regard, right? Verse 24. No man regarded. No man respected. Okay? They didn't care to look back at Yahweh Bashem Al-Washai. Okay? So let's go over here to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and 19. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer. And you got guys that are like that, man. They're blatantly being disrespectful, not taking heed to counsel, doing whatever the fuck they want. What makes you think that I have to do all this stuff and you just do whatever you want? That don't make no sense. Because according to the book of Matthew, it says that the guys or the brothers that come in at the last hour are going to receive the same penny. But that last hour, they're going to be doing what? The work. You see? But that's the rebellious children, the ones that are refused to hearken. Okay? It says, a servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer. Meaning that he's not going to respond in action. Right? Let's go over here to the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 28. And what think ye? A certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go work today in the vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented and went. So this man acknowledged his offense, right? He felt bad for it. He corrected it and turned his direction to do exactly what his father had commanded him, or that certain man. Okay? And it says, and he came to the second and said likewise, and he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not. You see? So he disrespected. So the one son in verse 29, he respected that command. And the one son in the 30th verse, he disrespected him. He refused to look back. Okay? He disrespected it. He cast it away. Because why? He was weak-minded. He didn't have the strength to go about doing what was right, in the eyes of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And even him as being as a man with integrity or a self-dignity. Verse 31, whether of them twain did the will of his father. Right? Which one did the will of his father? They say unto him the first. You see? So it was the first one in verse 29 that respected the command that was being spoken. He looked back at it. Let's go over here to the book of Salakia, the book of Zechariah 7 and 11. It says, but they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear. You see? Because it's all spiritual. Everybody hears the words that we speak on the highways and the byways, but they're not letting it resonate within them, in their spirit. And you got individuals that are doing the same thing right now, that know a lot of things, but they're not moving in action. It says, yea, they made their hearts as an adamant stone. And the Most High said he's going to change our stony heart into flesh. It's not good to have a stony heart. That's basically like you're recalcifying your pineal gland, and you have no spiritual connection to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It says, and basically there's no moisture there to have a calcified mind. Right? Like I said, they have made their hearts as an adamant stone. That's basically nothing. It's dry. There's no moisture. It says, lest they should hear the law and the words which the Lord of hosts has sent in his spirit by the former prophets. You see? So this ain't no thing, well, I read the Bible, the Lord is telling me. No, there's men that on the highways and on byways that are authorized to exhort, admonish, rebuke. And you're supposed to hearken unto those men when they come. Look at what the examples of certain men in the scriptures that didn't take heed to the prophets, that rejected the word of the Most High by way of the mouth of the prophet. And what happened? They ended up getting killed. It says, therefore came a great wrath from the Yahweh of hosts. See? So, because of that attitude, that disrespectful attitude, a great wrath is going to come from Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, therefore, it has come to pass that as he cried and they would not hear. Right. So who's crying? First and foremost, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, but we are too. Right. We sigh and cry for all the abominations that are committed in the earth. Right. It says they would not hear, just like it said in Proverbs chapter 1. So they cried, right? So the ones that refused to take heed in the time that it was needful for them, they ended up crying. So it says they cried and I would not hear. So the Most High is going to turn that thing back on you, and he ain't going to hear you, saith the Lord of hosts. Okay? So I just wanted to bring that out, and just because, for individuals that try to be slick and think they're trying to outsmart an individual, you can't do it. You won't be able to do it. Let's go ahead and get this one here in the book of Sirach. Let's see here.